Be blessed by the divine. Dr. Vandana, welcome to the show. I understand you have a few questions. How are you? Please tell me what questions you have. We can try and answer them.
Be blessed by the divine. Thank you so much for having me on, and thank you so much for giving me the time to answer my questions. So, as you know, I'm an entrepreneur, and you and Radha ma'am have been very, important in my entire journey as being an entrepreneur. My husband and I have gotten initiated by you, and thanks to you and Swamiji's methods and techniques, we've been able to really get through life happily. However, being an entrepreneur can be challenging at times. And one of the main questions that I have is about anxiety and stress when things are not going my way. So when I have a deadline or very stressful situation, how do I deal with it?
Do you have a list of your anxieties?
Yes, I can take you through a few examples that
Let's take
you
one
could help me
example
out.
of yours.
So there is a situation where sometimes our payments don't come on time from the customer, and because of this, the vendors get affected. And what happens then is some of the vendors they get very aggressive and violent, and sometimes things go out of hand. And at times like this, I keep blessing them, but I'm sometimes unable to keep myself together, and I do get aggressive myself.
I totally understand the situation because many times, many of us who have been entrepreneurs in our life have faced such a situation. So, I have found in my past that it is easier if we plan for such emergencies.
Hmm.
We, while we have done our service or we have delivered our products, and it is obvious that the customers need to pay, and many times they have agreed to pay but don't pay. So that disappointment leads to various chain reactions within the system and outside of the system, that people get aggravated or people get anxious, and that can trigger various emotions in our mind and others' mind that can lead to certain words and actions which we would end up regretting later. So, anxiety cannot be a solution for a situation like this. Has it
Hmm.
ever helped that you got anxious that you got collected payment from the customer?
Never. It's made things worse.
It only makes things worse for who? For customers or you?
For me.
Yes, it only makes things difficult for us. So, why do you get anxious? Instead of getting anxious, if you plan ahead of time and say, okay, I believe that about X rupees have to come from customers on so and so date, but you plan for, say, 50% of that coming to you. Based on your business model, your past experience, you would know what percentage you can expect. And if you are able to plan 50% of what you're expecting, then life becomes a little easier for you to plan cash flows.
Mhm.
So the best way to do is to sit in silence, do your dhuriya meditation, go to alpha level of frequency, and list down all your payments that you are supposed to collect on what date you are likely to collect. So that will give you a plan for week on week for the next, say, 4 weeks or 8 weeks or 12 weeks. And then tell yourself, only 50% of this will come to me.
Mhm.
Now, what will you do if only 50% comes? Plan. When you plan, you will then be able to prepare a contingency action items. Perhaps you can dig deeper into your cash reserve if you have one, or you can postpone certain payments, set expectations for your vendors that there would be payment delays that they need to plan for. They also have lives. They need to plan for their lives. They need to pay
Right.
salaries. They need to pay rent, etc. So instead of setting a very high expectation, set a low expectation, and then you will be able to manage that level of expectation easily. The trick for not getting anxious is to eradicate expectations from your system.
Mm-hmm.
So start by decreasing your expectations.
Mm-hmm.
We all expect, sky high from ourselves. That's the fundamental problem. And
That's true.
it's okay if you are able to jump that high and succeed each time. It's not okay if you fall flat and get anxious and worried and get distressed about it.
Yeah.
Distress, anxiety is soul suicide, as you know. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of your life force, Kundalini Shakti, gets drained, because of which you lose your mental energies.
Mm-hmm.
You will not be able to remain positive, and you will be taken over by your emotions.
Right.
In the process, a whole lot of chain reactions will be triggered from within your mind, around your family, around your workplace.
Right.
That's not going to help anyone either.
True.
So, what if you don't get any money at all?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a plan for it? So, this is the way to plan. You just need to
Mm-hmm.
plan well ahead of time
Right.
and work backwards from that plan and say, okay, if I get 100% of what I'm aiming for, I will do ABC.
Mm-hmm.
50% I will do DEF.
Mm-hmm.
If I get 25%, I will get GHI.
Right.
So that's the way to work on. So once you take your decision at the alpha level and visualize, then
Mm-hmm.
you'll be able to prepare your mind for various actions. You will succeed. Anxiety will easily be prevented and permanently eradicated through this process of superimposition and visualization.
Right. Wow. Thank you so much for that. I'm definitely going to get back to the planning board and be prepared for situations like this. I have another question about, I guess, similar, because you were talking about expectations, about team members. I expect them to function at a certain level and achieve certain targets, and ensure that things are happening smoothly. And when they don't follow in that line, I tend to start worrying about it a lot, and therefore that triggers anxiety as well.
Yeah, once again, the problem is expectations.
Mm-hmm.
It is difficult not to expect your team members to perform,
Right.
but expectation may lead to disappointments.
Mm-hmm.
Disappointments will trigger various fears and worries in us. So without expectation, there will be no worries, no
Mm-hmm.
anxieties. But it is difficult to live without expectation in a commercial environment where you have to earn money, other people have to work hard, customers
Yeah.
have to be satisfied, and then only they will pay, and then only people can be satisfied in your system. They can be paid, and everybody will start to work hard, and the whole engine can keep running smoothly. So once again, the trick is to sit down and identify the strength and the weaknesses of each member in your team.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, let us say there is a person in your team who has a habit of being a James Bond type of a person who thinks that he has to solve every problem himself,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't give you any feedback for it.
Right.
So if there is a problem, he thinks he is going to solve it. And that could lead to various anxieties in you, because it could be a customer situation. Customer may then start to call you and perhaps show their disappointment, displeasure with you, and you would not know what was wrong and why this information or this situation was not escalated to you earlier.
Right.
So the way to work with that person is you should know that this person is a James Bond. So sit down and work with that James Bond every morning and try and prevent anxieties
Mm-hmm.
for you. There could only be some 2 or 3 reasons why you will get anxious. It could be time related anxiety, money related anxiety, it could be task related anxiety, it could be performance related anxiety. There'll be some, if you list all your anxieties down, you will find that most of it falls under 1 or 2 categories. This is
Right.
true of most human beings, unless, of course, the person is having anxiety disorder,
Oh,
which
okay.
in which case he requires medical attention or
Mm-hmm.
professional assistance. But 99% of the cases, that is not really a serious problem. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
question of old habits.
Right.
Okay. We expect, and if we get disappointed or if we perceive disappointment, then anxiety kicks in with us.
Mm-hmm.
So if you work backwards from that point of view, okay, if my team member does not give me feedback, I get anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Then you plan for a meeting first thing in the morning with the team member and say, boss,
Mm-hmm.
tell me what are the things you are going to do today? What are the issues? Maybe you have a CRM software. You will know what are the tickets that the person needs to work on
Yeah.
if he is in a help desk kind of situation. Or you may have an Excel sheet or you may have a notebook where you write written down all your list of tickets. Work with that person.
Mm-hmm.
Prevent anxieties for you. Don't wait for anxiety to hit you and try and solve the
Okay.
problem. It may take only 10 minutes a day for
Mm-hmm.
you to solve this problem. It will work.
That's a great trick. I mean, to keep ahead of any anxiety that might hit you later, so you're always in charge of what's going to happen, and you're prepared for it rather.
That's right. Once again,
So,
the key is to sit and meditate,
uh-huh.
go to the alpha level of frequency and plan
Mm,
and visualize you doing this with this person as an exercise every day. Program your subconscious mind that you are going to be ahead of the curve.
right.
Visualize yourself planning carefully, meticulously working with this person in your team to prevent anxieties for yourself, prevent problems for the rest of the organization.
That's true. Mm,
Visualize yourself succeeding in that space. Visualize the results also
mm-hmm.
while being in the alpha level.
Mm,
Manifestation is only a matter of time.
right. Thanks so much for that. I had one other question, which I generally tend to, um, I mean, I tend to fail in this. I, since I know meditation, since I have really taken the benefits of introspection, how do I inspire my team to also meditate, introspect, and you utilize, what comes out of that to work efficiently, work better?
Very simple. Each time you have a meeting with your team,
Mm-hmm.
start with a 10-minute meditation.
Mm,
It will become a habit for everyone. Before you start your office, you be the first person to enter the office. And as soon as your employees come in, sit down and meditate at exactly the same time.
mm-hmm.
Let us say 9:30 in the morning, your office starts. Be there at 9:25. Put the mat and wait. Let the team come by 9:30, 9:35, 9:40, whatever time it is. But you tell the team that at this time I'm going to start meditating. And I expect you to be here. It's okay if they don't come, but you start your meditation. You do this for 40, 50, 60 days. People will see you as an example, as a leader. Say,
Mm,
boss is coming, yeah, she's coming and she's meditating. What is wrong? Why don't I also meditate? So it will get into a habit. Similarly, when you start your staff meeting or your team meeting, meditate together for 5 minutes. Okay. Before
that's
you
great.
leave the office, say six
Yeah.
o'clock, you shut down the office. 5:45, you shut it down and tell
Mm,
people 5:45, all works are off. Everybody should sit down and
mm-hmm.
come. Let us start meditation. 10 minutes meditation. Bless everybody. and then close the office and go. I'm telling you, this 15 minutes of meditation in the morning, 15 minutes of meditation in the evening will 10x your productivity. Yeah. Next question.
I remember that you used to do this for us, that you would, ask us, tell us rather that you will be up in the meditation room meditating and that we could join you in the morning or in the evening. And it had become such a beautiful habit. And I think you created that habit for us. So thank you. Now I'm going to definitely, inspire my team to be able to build it as a habit as well.
Lovely. So if you would like me to participate in your team meditation, give me
Mhm.
a call. I'll set up a Zoom meeting or so. I will also 10 minutes meditate with you before you start your work or before you close your day for the end of the day.
Thank you so much. That really would make a huge difference. And thank you for offering that.
More than happy to do.
I'm done with my questions now.
Thank you so much for all your questions. Thank you for inspiring a lot more people by your actions of protecting the environment. All the very best to you. My prayers for you. And let's do this more often. It's a more interesting platform to do something like this. And it's this lockdown and corona and things like that. I'm certain that this will be welcomed by a lot more people. So perhaps once in a few days, we should try and do this more often. Thank you. Thank
For,
you for being
for
there.
sure.
Be
Thank you
blessed
so
by the
much.
divine.
Thank you so much for your time. And I'm going to put all of your lovely, advice into action. Thank you. I'll get back to you with the results. Thank you. Be blessed
Good,
by the divine.
good luck and be blessed.